How to replace a jacuzzi heater manifold assembly. You've tested your hot tub heater element and you found that it needs to be replaced. In this video, I'm going to show you step by step how to change your heater element manifold. We're going to have to drain the hot tub. I'm draining it right now. And it's because there's no shut off on these 3/4. So we got to get this off right here. So we'll drain it down and I'll show you how to take this out and replace it. So if you didn't unplug this already, then unplug it. We got a nut here we got to take off and a nut right there. Now see that orange stuff right there? It's an orange paint. We know that it hasn't been changed ever before. This is original. There's a sensor you got to disconnect. Anything that's coming out of the side here. So we got to unplug that. You have a ground wire right here. Just leave that, don't disconnect it. The rod's about 6 inches long. It goes in right there. It leaks, but I'll show you how to what to do when you put the new one in. So we got everything disconnected. As you can see, it was leaking for a long time. There's one lead to the element. It's all rusted. So that would have tripped. And everything else was leaking. You got this clip here and you got a clip on the bottom. Move it out of the way. Same as the one on the bottom. So these units are all one piece. All information's right on there. That's a 5.5 kilowatt. Now these are notorious for leaking right where the element comes out. Replace it with the same one. I'll link it down below if I have a link. But if you can find the gray one, works just the same. And I'll show you how to set that one up because I can't get a hold of the black ones. It's too bad you have to buy this whole thing. So for the new one, because we have this connection here, and that's the only difference between this black one and the gray one, I'm going to show you how to switch it over, is the plug. And here's the new one. And like I said, everything's exactly the same, except this one here has the plate. The other one does not have the plate. And then the cord's different, because this might go on this goes on as Sundance. This is Jacuzzi, which is the same idea. So we're going to change out this cord with the old cord. And since we already have the ground pin already on the other one, we're going to pull this one off. Now this was going around like this, and there was a tie right here. So you just clip those off. And we got to take this off, so you got to use your 1/4 inch. small one, or needle nose. You got to get in there underneath. We don't want this spinning at all. Remember, we don't want this thing, this element, twisting at all. We just want to take the top bolt off. So same thing when we're putting it on. Hold that from spinning. So you just want it snug. You can tie wrap that down. Get this one in. Okay, we got that done. Just going to tie wrap everything just so it's not pulling. So wherever way it goes in. Just like that. Then we have our sensor that we got to put in. So we're going to take it off the old one. So it's just siliconed in. Just going to take that silicone off, clean it up a bit. Now you can silicone it just so it doesn't come out. But since I'm using a gasket maker, when you first get this, these are going to be loose. So make sure you snug those up. And then there's 16 screws. Make sure that, again, they're just go to each one and snug it up. And same as this right here. Make sure it's snug. Snug. Okay, so we're going to try to prevent that from falling down and leaking. So you're going to take some gasket maker. I'll link some down below. Enough so it's just not going to pop off. And what you're going to do is right at the top of the element here, you want to put some in there. It's probably easier just to do it without, but I didn't want to move this side here. Just put it all around it. Doesn't look pretty, but that's where it's going to leak. And at the bottom. So it kind of seals it around where that nut goes down. Seals it around, and then hopefully a little bit of a resistance so it doesn't fall out. You let everything cure, 24 hours. I'll show you how to put this in. So here we have the one that's set up to go. Here I put some silicone on that ground rod. I just put it around here, so when we go to slide it in, it's going to just cover that hole right there, because it's going to leak out there eventually at some point down the road. We don't want to put silicone all the way. We don't want to coat it. So as long as, if there's a short, then it's ground to water. So it's good to go there. So that's how you put silicone on there. The heat gun again. Heat up that bottom pipe. And put that clip back on right there. And heat up the top one now.
You put the sensor back in.
Here I'm putting the ground rod back in, slipping it in, and make sure all the wires don't get all tangled up. As long as you put a tie wrap, you should be fine. And it slides in, just get the bolts in where the holes were. I was having a hard time with this one because of the 1.5" flex pipe at the top there. I didn't notice right away that was blocking me from pushing it in. Plug in the cord for the heater element.
This pack's pretty new, so the plug on yours, put some dielectric grease on it, and I'll link it down below. Then you put your sensor back in right here, and don't forget the bolts. Put those back on snug.
Start filling your hot tub. Once the hot tub is filled up, turn the breaker on. Test your element to make sure it's heating.